Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra, bow your head. Offer your practice today to someone who needs healing, a human being, an animal being, or a nature being. Bring them into your mind's eye and visualize them. Dedicate your practice to them. Namaste. Namaste. Welcome, everybody. So, the theme this term is meditation. And you all have a mala. And in a minute, I'm going to show you how to use that. I want to start with a short quotation from the Krishna book by Krishnamurti. It's called the Krishnamurti Reader. And Krishnamurti was an interesting character. Do any of you know about him? Okay, so I can't go into a long description of what, but he was a great educator and also a yogi, but more of a jnana yogi, which means he was a philosopher of yoga. He started some schools, and he started a school in the UK. He was a student of BKS Iyengar, who was a student of our teacher, Tirumali Krishnamacharya. And he also knew Tirumali Krishnamacharya. So he was a yogi. He did practice, different types of yoga. But the main thing that he did was he was an educator. And there's a famous yogi called Eric Schiffman. Familiar with anyone? Eric Schiffman. What do you guys do all day? Like, don't you read? Don't you just study yoga and read yoga books all day? Eric Schiffman was very sort of like, before there was a like big kind of explosion of yoga celebrities. He was kind of a yoga celebrity in the 70s and the 80s, a yoga celebrity, Eric Schiffman. And he wrote a classic, which is called Moving into Stillness. And it was one of the first, it's a really great yoga book. If you ever see it, it's often secondhand, you can pick it up. If you ever see it, Eric Schiffman, Moving into Stillness, really excellent book. Anyway, he was a student of Krishnamurti, and Krishnamurti sent him to study with Krishnamacharya and Iyengar in India. And I think he became famous, Eric Schiffman, because he was the teacher of Steve McQueen and Ali McGraw, and that kind of film star set at that period in that time. So he got quite well known, and he was one of the first people to make sort of yoga videos of him teaching the stars. Yeah, I do a lot of that. I don't know if you know.
The stars.
Yeah, teaching stuff. I mean, different kind of stars. Okay, here we go. And this is a series of lectures that he gave to his students in his college about meditation. Rain on dry land is an extraordinary thing, is it not? It washes the leaves clean, the earth is refreshed. And I think we all ought to wash our minds completely clean as the trees are washed by the rain, because they are so heavily laden with the dust of many centuries, the dust of what we call knowledge and experience. If you and I would cleanse the mind every day, free it of yesterday's reminiscences, each one of us would then have a fresh mind, a mind capable of dealing with the many problems of existence. Rain on dry land is an extraordinary thing, is it not? It washes the leaves clean and the earth is refreshed. And I think we all ought to wash our minds completely clean as the trees are washed by the rain, because they are so heavily laden with the dust of many centuries, the dust of what we call knowledge and experience. If you and I would cleanse the mind every day, free it of yesterday's reminiscences, each one of us would then have a fresh mind, a mind capable of dealing with the many problems of existence. Plain, simple, beautiful reason to meditate. So, meditation. When I teach meditation course, It's long, involved, complicated, and it takes a long time, and I go into huge detail about everything. That's not going to happen. So stop me if it's not going to happen. But what we're going to do is we're going to keep it really simple. Krishnamurti is talking about a simple reason why meditation is important. Meditation is important because it helps you with the health of your mind. The mind is of two types. There's a mind which is full of thoughts, and there's a mind that has less thoughts. The more thoughts in the mind, the more stress the mind, the more anxious the mind. The less thoughts in the mind, the less stressed and anxious the mind. So thoughts are bundles of energy, which we call in yoga prana. Each thought is a little bundle of prana. And what happens is, when we get lots of thoughts, that prana builds and builds and builds, and that's what causes stress, because there's just, we can only contain, it's only so big, this thing, this brain, we can only contain so much prana, so much energy in our minds. And when we get to overload, then the mind becomes stressed, the mind becomes anxious, and the mind starts to go down. And then it spirals into what we call samskaras. And samskaras are grooves in the mind, which are habitual thought patterns. They can be negative patterns, they can be disruptive patterns, they can be happy patterns, but they can be often patterns which don't really serve us. And so the idea of cleansing the mind a little bit every day with meditation is, by reducing the number of thoughts in the mind, we give ourselves something of a clean slate to move on in our day. Does that make sense so far? Mm-hmm. So Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras, he gives some very good advice about meditation. He says, when assailed by negative thoughts, cultivate their opposite. Now, this is important to remember in meditation, because one of the big problems with meditation is that people think they can't meditate because their minds are really busy. Have you ever heard that? Have you ever said that? Have you ever tried to meditate and given up because your mind's too busy? So this is what normally happens. But you need to understand one fundamental thing about the mind and the thoughts that come into the mind. So when you sit to meditate and you try to focus your mind on a thing, whether it be a mantra or a picture or your breath, the thoughts tend to come up even more strongly than they would do in your normal everyday existence, because you've given them space. What the mind is doing is, it's like a search engine, and it's searching. The mind, when you give it space, the first thing it does is it starts to search. It goes out, in other words, and it starts to search for its habitual patterns, its habitual grooves, its samskaras. And when that happens, that disrupts your ability to stay with the mantra or to stay with the breath. And so you think the meditation isn't working. But the thing to understand is that that is what meditation is like. That is meditation. The mind goes away. And then what traditionally, the usual instructions are that you control the mind. You grab hold of that thought that's gone off to, I don't know, Brad Pitt's eyelashes, whatever it might be. I don't know, they just came into my head. I don't know. Whatever it goes off to, what you do is you grab it and you pull it back. And then it goes off to your dinner and you grab it and you pull it back. And then it goes off to a conversation you had this morning, you grab it and you pull it back, etc., etc., etc. That is just so exhausting. And it's unnecessary, and it sets up a struggle in the mind. And this is one of the reasons that people find often meditation such a challenge, because you end up having a little battle with your mind every time you sit for meditation. That sound familiar to anyone? This is not what meditation is. Meditation is, Patanjali says, yoga chitta vritti niruddha. Yoga is making friends with and being comfortable with the fluctuations of your mind. So when your mind drifts, rather than trying to bring it back, you take Patanjali's other advice and you replace it with another thought. And that other thought is called a mantra. Okay? So let's just say at the moment the mantra is Om. There are many others, as we know. So when the thought rises in your mind and you start your meditation and you're breathing and you're synchronizing the mantra Om with the inhale, Om with the exhale, Om with the inhale, Om being, of course, the vibration of your own mind and body and the whole created universe. So when you're doing that and then your mind goes off, all you do is you just put a mantra on top of that other thought. And then you put the mantra on top of the mantra. And then the mantra on top of the mantra. And then the thought goes off. And then rather than trying to bring the thought back and control the mind, you just put the mantra on top of the thought. Because remember, the thought is just energy. So what you do is you cancel out the energy that's a thought with the thought that is the mantra. And you just keep doing that. So you don't have to do any struggle. And you have to be totally accepting of the fact that the mind is designed to search. And then you won't get frustrated in your meditation. Even if you sat there for most of the time and more time was spent, I don't know, shopping than it was repeating the mantra, the more you do it, the easier it will get. It's like learning anything. But what happens over time, if you just stick with it for a while, is you'll find that when your mind starts to search, because what is the mind really searching for? It's searching for some kind of satisfaction. It's searching for gratification. It's searching for something that's going to make it feel good or that's going to keep it occupied. And you can make that thing a mantra, because a mantra is more powerful than any of those other thoughts. It's a vibration of the divine. So by continually bringing replacing one thought with that mantra, what you eventually do is you negate the power of the other samskaras in your mind. And your default setting becomes peace, relaxation in the mind, steadiness, clarity, insight, your natural state. And it's that simple. Does that make any sense? Okay. So that is what we're going to be doing for the next, how many weeks? 5 weeks. Each week we're going to do a slightly different form of japa. And japa is meditation with a mala because it's the most simple and direct form of meditation in yoga. There are many others. And I'm going to teach you to use a mala in case you don't know how to use one. And then every week we're going to do a different way of going into the process of meditation. Today we're going to use mala points. Next week we use Sushumna breathing. The following week we'll use a pranayama technique, and the following week we'll use a mantra. There's different ways of doing it. And so at the end, you'll be able to think, that's the one that works for me. I'm going to do that. And then this is the mantra that works for me. I'm going to do that. And then you'll have a meditation practice. Greatest gift you can give yourself in this life, because it will make everything else in your life better. How long do you need each day to meditate? 2 hours minimum. 5 minutes. You start with 5 minutes. Can you all find 5 minutes? If anybody says no, just don't do social media that day. Okay. So this is how you use a mala. This is a mala for giants. So, but it helps you to see. Yes. So you take the mala in your right hand and you put it over the middle finger. You put it over the middle finger of your right hand, even if you're left-handed. Okay. And then you're going to use this bead, which has got the tassel on it, which is called the meru or the sumera bead. And you always start there, and then you draw the mala towards you with your thumb. You keep the index finger up, and so that'll be inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, that's the way you draw the mala. You hold the mala in your left hand at navel level, and the right hand is at heart level. And then when you roll the mala, you will be drawing the energy of the mala, which will hold your energy, the energy of your mantra after time, you'll be drawing it back towards your heart. Each time you roll the bead, you pull the bead back towards your heart. Is that clear? And you try to keep this hand cupped at navel level. There's kind of lots of stuff about this, but this is all you need to know. And you just keep doing that, because what you're gradually doing is you're imbuing this mala, which is like a rosary, which has been used in many traditions. You're imbuing it with the energy, the prana of your mantra. So over time, this will become kind of like, so when you pick up your mala and you touch your mala or you see your mala in your reflection, what it will do is it will really start to draw you straight away into the mindset where you're going to repeat a mantra and meditate. And even if you're walking down the street and you see your reflection in a window and you see your mala, it will remind you of your divine self. And then you're more likely to give some money to the big issue guy. And so you draw it like that until you get to the end, but you never cross the Sumero bead. So this bead, when you approach it, but you don't actually cross it. You have to flip the mala the other way. The way you do that is when you feel some of the beads here are bigger, you'll see, and some of them just have a tassel. But when you get to that, instead of going over it, you put the thumb through the hole and you drop it into the thumb. Can you just do that? So it's now just in the crease of your thumb. And then you bring the middle finger back through the hole, through the mala, and you flip it. And now you're going back the other way. Does that make sense? You approach the bead, you don't cross the bead, you just bring your thumb through the hole, drop it. Bring the middle finger through, flip it, go back the way you came. Get confused with it, I can help you with it later. Is that clear? That's what we're going to do at the end of the class. So we can just go straight into the meditation without explaining the mala. Is that all right? Okay, if you've got chance, please put them on your mat. If you have a mala, if you roll it into a little ball, you can either wear it and put it under your clothes, or if you want to leave it on the mat, put it in a ball and put it in the top right hand corner of your mat, not on the floor, so I tread on it. Then stand up and come to the center of your mat. And stagger yourselves a little bit on your mats. If you're next to the wall, turn face inwards for the Hatha Vinyasas. And if you're new to the class, just do what you feel comfortable with. And you can watch as much as you like. Chest up, shoulders back and down. Feet together or feet parallel. Just rock a little bit forward. Rock a little bit back into your heels. Move to the right. Move a bit to the left. And then as you come back to center, push all four corners of your feet down. Feel the energy move up the inseams of your leg and connect to your perineum and the pelvic floor. Tuck your tailbone towards your pubic bone so the pelvic floor slightly lifts and lightens and you feel supported across your hips. And lift lightly through the lower abdomen below the navel so you feel support for your lumbar spine. Lift the chest slightly and bring the chin down and gaze into the heart. Bring 2 fingers of the right hand into your sternal notch. And with the chin down, begin that slight sound to the breath, UJ breathing. So partially closing the windpipe at the glottis, making a hissing sound as the breath moves in and as the breath moves out. Never want to be too forceful or too loud, just a gentle hissing sound. And when you have the breath, release the hands down into Asana. As for Vinyasa. Keeping that breath. Inhale, arms wide and overhead. Flip your palms. Pause. Begin the exhale, lower the arms on the breath. Chin down, looking into the heart. Inhale, arms wide and overhead. Lift up. Exhale, widen down. Same speed up as down. Controlling with Ujjayi breath, inhale, widen up. Don't face inward, so you can bring your hands wide. And exhale, widen down. Try to get that full rotation in your shoulder joints. Now introducing bandhas. Inhale, widen up. As you exhale, bend the elbows and bring the hands to the opposite shoulder blade. Bring your chin down, lift your chest up, completely empty your lungs. Hold the breath out. Mula Bandha, perineum, lower abdomen, in up, Uddiyana Bandha, chin on the chest, Japa Bandha. And then release the bandhas, inhale, stretch the hands to the ceiling. And exhale, widen down. And again, inhale, widen up. Lift the palms, pause. And then exhale, hands to the opposite shoulder blade, but cross the arms the other way around, where it feels a little more awkward. Go right to the end of the breath, hold the breath out. Lift perineum, lower abdomen in and up, optional chin on the chest. Release the bandhas, inhale, press the palms to the ceiling, fingers interlock. Exhale, widen down. Uttanasana, inhale, bring the arms forward to shoulder level, chin down, look into your navel. And keeping the gaze on the navel, bend the knees and go halfway. So the thighs parallel with the floor, as close as you can get. Keep the chin down, so you're looking into the navel, draw your hips back, pause there, lift the perineum. Inhale, stand up, arms shoulder level. Keep looking at the heart. Same again, exhale, go down. Just halfway. This is. And then inhale, open your arms wide like wings. Stay there. Navigate your neighbor. And then exhale, bring your arms forward and flip your palms. Keep the chin down, inhale, stand up. Arch back a little bit, look up now, arms over the head. Exhale, fold all the way down. By moving the hips back, sucking the tummy in and looking into your navel. And flip the palms, inhale all the way up. Arch back a bit, look up. Exhale all the way down. Try to bring the feet more parallel. Now come onto your fingertips, inhale, look up. And exhale, fold. Ujjayi breathing, please. Inhale, look up onto your fingertips and stay there. Look at your third eye, eyes can be closed. And fully exhale there. Go right to the end of the breath, hold the breath out. With the lungs empty, hold. Then keep the abdomen control, breathe into your back ribs in the inhale. And at the end of the next exhale, keep deepening the Uddiyana Bandha. And then hands back inside the feet if you can. Press the palms into the floor if you can. Relax your neck. Inhale, extend the arms forward, strong arms and legs lift all the way up. That was the knee bend. Exhale, Tadasana. Surya Namaskar, Sun Salutation. Need to be a little bit more towards the front of your mat. Leg round first time. If you're new to it, you might want to watch this. Inhale. Exhale, Anjali Mudra. Just let that breath flow. Inhale. Actually, we'll do this today. Make life a little bit easier. Exhale, Anjali Mudra. Inhale, forward and up, flip the palm. Exhale, hold all the way. We'll inhale, exhale, Utkatasana, squat down, bend the knees, forehead to knees, heels may rise. Inhale, hold the breath, hop or step back, back up. And then inhale, upward facing dog. Knees can be on the floor. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep the end to the lunge. Optional little inhale as you hop or step forward, and full exhale up. Down the back. Bend the knees. Inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, fold into the legs. Lift the palms, inhale, come up. And exhale, Anjali Mudra. With the mantra, standing Tadasana. Inhale. You can, you do the whole thing with eyes closed. Exhale, Anjali Mudra. Inhale, up, flip the palm. Oh, I forgot the mantra. Come on. Okay, here we go. Exhale, Anjali Mudra. Om Mitri Namaha. Up. Om Ravi Namaha. Down. Om Sari Namaha. Back. Om Bharade Namaha. Back. Om Kake Namaha. Om Pushni Namaha. Om Hiranyagabe Namaha. Om Maliche Namaha. Back. Hold the breath out. Om Maliche Namaha. Forward squat. Om Savitre Namaha. Hold. Om Ake Namaha. Up. Anjali. Om Bhaskare Namaha. Tadasana. Inhale. Exhale. Om Maitre Namaha. Om Ravi Namaha. Om Sare Namaha. Om Bharave Namaha. Om Kake Namaha. Om Pushni Namaha. Om Hiranyakave Namaha. Om Mariche Namaha. Om Mariche Namaha. Om Savitre Namaha. Om Make Namaha. Om Bhaskare Namaha. Tadasana. Turn to the right. Turn to the left. Inhale, raise the arms to the level. Heart. Exhale. With the exhale, hop the feet apart. Triangle reach. Warrior one, inhale, bring the arms over the head. Lift the palms, turn the right foot out, the left hip, spread the hips to the front. Then inhale then. As you exhale, bend the front knee, bring the arms forward, shoulder level, palm face up. Then just inhale, arms straight up, lift the palms, straight in front leg, arch back. Shoulder level forward. Exhale, arms forward, palms up. Deep and straight breathing. Good. Yeah, inhale, come up, lift the palms. Arch back. From the top, big chin down. Exhale, go down, arms shoulder level. Stay there. Look at the horizon line. Take nice, smooth, and straight lines. Okay. Good. Sure. Is that all right? And inhale, lift the palms, you come up. Straighten the leg and arch back. And then exhale, fold all the way down, put the hands on the floor. Good, bend the front knee and lay on the front thigh. Step the back foot back a little bit more. So you've got a nice long stance. Lay on the thigh, move your hips back, move the chest forward. Bend the knee well. Look out, bend the knee well. Bend the knee well. Bend the knee. Good. Exhale, drop the back knee down, heel may rise. Inhale, lift the torso vertical and stretch the left arm up. Refold. Exhale, twist to the right, straight line through the forearm and the optional, bring the left hand to the floor inside the foot and the right arm up. Turn the back to under, inhale, straight to front leg. If you feel happy in the balance. Take any variation here that you 1, 2, 3, with great rest with long exhale. But for some reason, then no very good. Strong breathing, long exhale, pause at the end of the exhale, deepen the twist. That's good. Good, and then just turn the back heel down. And as you inhale, sweep up. Arms shoulder level, turn the feet out, face breathe. Back to the start. Up, up. Good. Inhale, bring the arms overhead. Exhale, turn the left foot out and the right foot in, square the hips to the open. Back foot has to turn in sharply so you don't switch your knees. Inhale there. Exhale, arms forward and down, arms shoulder level. Keep your shoulders back over your hips, don't lean forward. And then inhale, bring the arms up, with the palms. Lift a little more. And exhale, down. Do it one more time. Keep those hips nice and square, come up. And then exhale, go down and hold this time. Drawing your left hip back and your right hip forward. Keep the shoulders down, but keep the arms up. Try to bring the breath all the way up under your collarbones. With the palms, inhale, come up and arch back. Keep the chin down. That helps you with your balance. Only if you're really comfortable, drop the head right back. And then exhale, fold over the leg, hands to the side. It's a bit of a funny pose, this one, but Krishna Chara seems to like it. Bring the knee forward and step back with the right foot so you're in a long stance. And then lay your abdomen and your chest on your thigh with the back knee up. Keep the back knee up. Take a breath there. Inhale, move your chest forward. And exhale, put your abdomen and your chest on your thigh, looking down to the floor. And then drop the back knee down, exhale. Inhale, lift the torso to vertical and both arms up. Put the hands in a prayer and twist your left. Inhale, turn the back toe under, straighten the back leg. Keep the knee down if you need to. Breathe out. The other side, put that hand down, give you a stretch and smooth. Yeah. Exhale, just turn the back heel down. Inhale, one smooth movement. Float up, chicken out from 50. Exhale, hands to the way. Inhale. Exhale. Nice and lightly, soften these hot feet together. Good, turn face front. Lead and return sequence, exhale. No, don't do one. Inhale, reach up, interlock fingers. Exhale, palms forward. Inhale. When you arch back, keep the thighs firm. Just arch from the upper back and through the shoulders. Keep your chin down. And then just by moving the hips back, suck your tummy in and fold over your legs. And now flip the palms and inhale, come up. Arch back a little bit. And now exhale down. I'm doing an experiment. Yeah. Okay. Right. Stop. Okay, so I've looked at this in the other class, and it's the same in this class. So so what we can do, but I'm not going to do it today, is we count the movement. So the movement is, say your breath is, a good average is 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. Okay. So when you come up from any sort of fall, then whether it's sitting or standing, whatever, it should be like this. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. And then when you go down, it should be on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. The thing is, at the moment, it's about 5 one way and 2 the other, or 2, 3 maybe. So the secret is to control the UJ. So if you intensify the UJ and constrict the throat more when you're folding forward in any posture, it will slow your descent. It helps you to control the movement. Yeah? So let's do it. Stronger UJ breath on the exhale. And so you go down with more control. You know when you let the air out of a balloon? It's a... You've got to kind of control the way the air is leaving the lungs. And if you manage to do that, you'll be able to control your physical movement more precisely. Inhale. And then the chin is down, which helps you with that UJ. Start the UJ and make it louder. If the air goes out of the lungs more slowly, the movement will be more slow. Okay, and then flip your palms, inhale, come up. Just keep your hands flipped. Keep your chin down, arch back a little bit. And then strong ujjayi, exhale, go down on 1 and 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. Yeah, now I'm happy. And then inhale there. And exhale, Utkatasana, squat down. Separate the knees, Dandasana, sit down. Inhale, bring the arms over your head and flip the palms. Exhale, don't move. Inhale, round your back and roll down on your back with your arms over your head. Move blocks out of the way if they're in someone's way. And then exhale, bring the arms beside the hips. And take a short rest. Switch off ujjayi, bring the feet together, and bring the arms beside the body with the palms down. Somebody said to me the other day, I don't know why you call it take rest, it doesn't feel like a rest. Inhale, flip the palms and bring the hands overhead. Exhale, don't move, completely empty your lungs. Draw the lower abdomen in, sit up. Any way you can. If you can, just by swinging the arms up. Fold over the legs, take a big pose. Bend the knees if you need to. And then flip the palms, inhale, come up. Good, exhale, hands beside the hips, Dandasana. And then bend the knees, soles of the feet on the floor, push up, Utkatasana, squat pose. If you can just push straight into the squat. Hands to the floor. Little inhale into your back ribs, like you're doing the sun salutation. Exhale, chaturanga. And then inhale, up fold. And exhale, down dog is 3 breaths. Feet together that way. So have your feet together if you can. And have some feet wide. Yeah, and ground it. You get good contact with the floor here. Ground. You need to rest, feel free, and you need one rest. And then you're going to look up and inhale, pop forward onto your shins. I'm going to do that again. Go back down to the floor. So all you have to do is look up, and then you don't need to, if you jump high in the air, the landing's going to hurt. All you do is a little economy of movement. It's like a little tiny hop, and you end up on your shin. You can resist a bit as you go down. So just do that. Hop forward onto your chin. Yeah. I'm going to do a few vinyasas from the meditative sequence. Hands on the knees, chest up, chin down. Lift your chest, close your eyes, bring your chin towards your chest. Look into your heart. Smooth ujjayi breathing. Inhale. Take a long exhale. Go right to the end of the breath, hold the breath out. Lift the chest, bring the chin to the chest, or as close as you can get it. Lift the perineum. Tuck the lower abdomen in and up, so you can feel the diaphragm pressing up towards the heart. Release the bandhas, inhale. Exhale fully. And you get to the end of the exhale, make sure all the air's out of the lungs. Hold the breath out, lift the chest up towards the chin, bring the chin down, lift the perineum, draw the navel up and back towards the spine. Mahabandha, the great seal. Release the band as inhale. And exhale. And then arms forward and up, inhale. With the palms. And lift, just like you do in the Hasta Vinyasas. Keep the seat on the heels today. And then as you exhale, separate the palms and fold forward. And remember that stronger Ujjayi to control your descent. Put the palms on the floor, we're going to take a breath down. Make the exhale long, and at the end of the exhale, pause. Flip the palms, inhale, come up. The top of the movement, arch back. Separate the palms, exhale, fall down. Yes, I'm so much better. Take a breath. Next inhale, move all the way up, flip the palms, arch gently back. Exhale, sweep the hands behind you into your fingers. Put the hands on the floor with the palms facing down if you can. Lean back into the hands, fingers interlock. So you're really squeezing your shoulder blades. And then inhale, lift and open your chest, drop your head back. Keep your hips on the heels at the moment. And then as you exhale, come up and fold all the way forward over your legs. Keep the fingers interlocked and bring the arms up over your back. You can bring the palms to the face now if you prefer. And then inhale, come up, flip the palms and press the palms into the floor with the fingers interlocked. Open the chest, drop the head back. Squeeze the shoulder blades and take a deep breath into the heart. And then Vinyasa, come forward all the way down, bring the arms up over your back, and just gently stretch out your shoulders. Head on the floor if you can. And then inhale, last time, come on. Put the palms down, push them into the floor, push your shins down, open your chest, drop your head back and lift your hips up. Stay there. Hips up if you can. Exhale. Bounce your hips a bit higher. Inhale, deep into your chest. Exhale, come down. Put the hands on the floor in front of your knees. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, open the foot down. Exhale, and you should be here for 3 breaths, but I want to do something now. So just inhale, do that nice little hop onto your shins. I know you like it. Point your toes when you do it, Eric, so you land straight in the posture. Okay, so now we're going to look at who's comfortable in a half lotus here? Yeah. Who wants a demo form? Don't fight over it. Yeah, your turn, Sophie. Okay, so we'll use your mat actually because it'd be better because we need more space behind. If you turn the face that way, face that way. Okay, so this is a posture we've done a few times before. Stand up and draw the back well, you need to be able to see. So this is a posture we've done a few times before, but I want to now do the full vinyasa in Bharadvajrasana. Bharadvaja was a famous yogic sage, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, so this is how it's. I'm going to take you through a few variations because it's a complex posture, and there's a few things that make it easier for you, so everybody will have an option. So firstly, we'll do the full posture, and then we'll do the variations. Okay, so bend the left knee, and bring the foot back with the sole of the foot up close to the hip, and I can triangle it together. So that. That's right. Now that's reach action. So like this, point the foot, give me a leg. Yeah. Okay, now bring the knees together. Okay, so now we're going to do that again. Bring the foot forward, and then we know what we're trying to do. Okay, bend the knee. Okay, now before you bring the foot back, what can be very helpful, depending on the size of your calf, is to put the thumb in the calf crease, pull the calf out just a little bit. You don't want to rotate it right out so it distorts the knee. Just a little bit of outward rotation, about a quarter, and then pull the calf flesh down towards your heel. So you do that. And then with the leg in that position, then tuck it back. And take pressure out of your knee joint. So you know it's now like Sophie's flexible, so she can sit with both sit bones fairly even on the floor, even with that leg back. But most of you are going to feel pressure in your knee joint and pressure in the top of your ankle. So we'll support you now, Sophie. So you sit up and you put just under the right sit bone while you're doing with that leg bend, support just under that sit bone. So this one can keep descending. Does that make sense? And then you'll eventually find that you can take that away and you'll get both your hips will still be square. Are you with me so far? And then you bend the right knee and you put it in Vinyasa, and then the output to the inner thigh. Yeah, just do that now. So this is the first stage. I seem to be doing the variations and full posture together. So this is where most of you will be. But if you're happy in half lotus, you can take that into half lotus. Okay, so she finds it easy to do half lotus, so just do that again, so we can do a few tips. So when you do the half lotus, the main thing is that your knee joint is fully closed before you put the foot into half lotus. You never do it with the knee joint open because there shouldn't be any rotation in the knee. All the movement in half lotus comes from the hip joint. So what you do is you pick the foot up, and the best thing to do, you can do it easy so you can do this, but for most people it works to bring the hip joint right back, and then what you do is you keep the knee joint closed and you rotate the sole of the foot up. So can you see the deep rotation that's going into a hip? And then the knee can drop down. So some of you are going to be working towards this. Now, you see this dark crease we've got in our ankle? You don't want that. Because that means that her knee's too far out. Yeah? And that's going to be painful after a while. And so what you do is as you bring the knee across, you start by bringing the heel into your belly button. And then when it's in, or just close to the belly button, and then you sweep the foot across onto the upper thigh. And now look how close the knees are together. So in lotus, the knees aren't wide, the knees are as close as they can be. So that the feet go up, and now can you see that her foot is pointing up and flat on the top of her hip crease? Yeah, that's good. And then you inhale, bring the arms overhead. And then the first vinyasa is straightforward. So this is going to work into the hip point side to the back. And there's two vinyasas. You go up and stay there. You go up and down. You go up and down a couple of times, and then you can stay there for 3 to 6 breaths. So this is the kind of preparation. And then you inhale and come up, and then we're going to take a pose. And this is the lotus leg. So you're going to exhale to the right and twist towards the lotus leg. And you're going to sweep this hand around behind you and move forward. And this hand is going to go on the knee. Do it that way. And then you can inhale and exhale, twist. At the end of the exhale, she's going to pause, and she's going to turn her head the other way and look at the opposite knee. So the gaze goes slightly down. So now she's got a spiraling action in her spine. Can you see that? With that spiraling action, there's two things that are happening. You get a good twist here in the lower back, but because of the openness of the chest with the gaze going the other way, when she inhales, she can bring the breath really high into the upper part of the rib cage. And then as she exhales, she keeps that kind of openness in the chest. And at the end of the exhale, she pauses. Get to the end of an exhale. At the end of the exhale, you do the bandha like you've been doing, and that's where you twist the body, but you don't twist it. So you maintain that spiral. So you inhale, broaden and lift. Long exhale, pause at the end of the exhale, kumbhaka, and in the kumbhaka, you twist that way and that way. So you're spiraling the whole spine, stimulating all the spinal nerves. Are you with me? Okay, that's what you do. Most of you are going to be doing it with the foot sit inside the thigh there. And if some of you can't sit with the knee in this position, you can keep that leg straight for now. Yes? Okay. And now it's going to come out. So before that, so if you can't hold the foot, if you haven't got the foot up, you can put your hand behind you like that, just onto your fingertips so you don't lean back. And this hand can be on the knee. Another variation is to have it outside the thigh. And then for those of you, hold the foot again. Those of you who are more flexible, the full posture is to bring a hand under the knee with the palm down. And then use that as leverage to rotate the upper back. Looking at the other. So it's like, it's a lot going on, isn't it? It's very beautiful posture. That's why it's challenging. And then this is one of the problems that happens. If the knees are too wide, and then you put the hand under the foot, it drops you right forward. So this is why the knees have to be really close together. Some of you who do those will find out. So release now. Inhale, arms over the head, flip the palms. Exhale, hands behind you, 10 inches forward. Keep the lotus. Or you would have this foot on the inner thigh, in the manner, it's easier. Then inhale, lift the hips up. Good. Exhale, come down. And then you would inhale again, hold on the exhale, merge your hips. Inhale into the chest, exhale, come down, which we're not going to do because we're going to time. And then you inhale and bring the arms over the head. Exhale, as you bring the hands to the floor, extend both legs into down. No, together. One movement. You're straight and you've done it. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so we have a go. On Tuesday, we only did one side. So okay, we're see if we can do both sides. As I said, we're going to be able to try later. Okay, let's start in downward facing dog. You're at the end of your third exhale into the line. Hop or step forward, Utkatasana, squat down. Separate the knees, sit down, Dandasana. Hands beside the hips. Inhale, bend the left knee towards the chest. Exhale, bring the foot back outside the hip, turn the calf, push out a little bit if you feel the need, and point the foot up and bring the knees close together. Right, support your right hip if you need to. I will bring around some support. So there's a lot lying around. You help people, grab some of the people, spread them around. If you're tilting a lot to the right, you need to support your hip. Good. Inhale, bend the right knee. And if that's too much on your knee or your ankle, then you keep that left leg straight. Bend the right knee, bring the shoulder, foot to the inner thigh, or bring the foot into half lotus. If you're going into half lotus, remember, remember all the precautions I gave you. Do not yank your knee around because it's a valuable asset. Start there. We'll come to that later. If you're in half lotus and the knee is a bit up, block it. Put something under it, because then when you lean forward, it will keep the pressure out of your joint. If it's like way up in the air, don't bother. Right. Okay, inhale, bring the arms over your head. What's going on, Sarah?
I'm just trying to get.
Okay, so you've all got the support just under your right buttock there, not under both buttocks. So you don't want to have to come around and feel. And then exhale, fold forward. Or not, you can just stay up. Inhale, come up. And remember that strong group J. It's really important here to help you control. Separate the palms, exhale, fold forward. Huh? Yeah, if you're it doesn't make go to the floor.
Oh,
Okay.
kind of.
Yeah. Do that today. Inhale, come up. So normally we'd stay there for a few breaths, but we're running out of time. Exhale, twist to the right. On the exhale, sweep the right hand behind, hold the foot, or bring the hand to the floor, or towards the top of the thigh. And bring your left hand across and hold the right knee. Good. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, twist and look over your right shoulder first. Wait till you get to the end of the breath, pause. Then rotate your head with the lungs empty and look at your left knee. Now start the breath. Deep inhale up through the spine and into the chest. Open the chest. Long exhale. At the end of the exhale, hold the breath out. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, twist. Release bandhas, inhale. And I'll do that pattern for 2 more breaths. Okay? Just come to child as it's kneeling and relax with your forehead. Take this one, more rest on the back of the breathing. Okay, and then inhale, from the center, sweep the arms over your head. Exhale, bring the hands behind you 10 inches. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift your hips up, put your head back, deep breath into the chest. Exhale, come down. Inhale, come up. Stay. Exhale, nudge your hips a bit higher. Inhale, deep into the chest. And exhale, slowly down. Inhale, bring the arms over the head. And now, unlike Sophie, as you bring the hands down, try and go straighten the legs and bring the hands down all together. Yeah, not easy, not easy. But or come down and then bring the back leg forward. That's the beginning. If you get used to it, that's fine. Anybody want to do the other side? I mean, you didn't really look like you enjoyed it. I thought this is going to be my treat for you. Okay, I want to get into the meditation, so we're going to do the other side. We're going to do it quite quickly. Okay, so just be ready with your support. We're not going to do so many vinyasas. Inhale, bend the right knee to the chest. Jog your left hip if you know you need it. Exhale, calf out, foot back, beside the hips, shoulder up, knee close. Inhale, bend the left knee towards your chest. Knee out, foot to the inner thigh or half lotus. Put the knee back before you bring it across. Bring it back. So now rotate the foot up first. All right. Open the other hand. Now rotate this up. That means you have to move this arm so you put those up. Yeah, that's all right. Okay. And then draw it back. Okay, and then inhale, bring the arms over the head. And as you exhale, pull forward. Too far to feel pressure. Inhale, come up. Twist left. Exhale, take a pose. Keep looking over your left shoulder. Good. Inhale. And as you exhale long, go to the end of the breath, pause, turn the head and look at the right knee. You're gazing slightly down. Now we're going to just do one breath. Inhale there. Big deep breath. And then a long exhale. Do one more. And then inhale from the center of the arm over the leg. Like you. Exhale, hands behind you. You are right. Inhale. Stay there. Exhale, notice it a bit higher. This is the hard bit. And then exhale, come down. Inhale, bring the arms overhead. Exhale, down down. Well, did you enjoy your presence?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so this is one of the things I will very briefly say, because we're going to go into conversation, is like, I can get you here every week and I can give you things that are all dead easy, not dead easy, but all accessible to all of you. Yeah? And that's fine. And that's what you can do. You don't have to do more challenging postures. But if you can find a simpler variation of a posture, which might be quite an advanced posture, like Bharadvajrasana is, then if you can just find a simple variation of that that works for you, you will still get most often, of the benefits of the full posture. Because remember, we're trying to work into the body, into all the different joints and nooks and crannies, and that way of twisting is very different to any other way of twisting, which you might have already found. It doesn't come so naturally, and it works into the back in a very different way, works into the hips in a very different way, and it's also very good for the ankles and the knees. So all that sort of stuff is happening because you're taking a more complex form. And so any form of that you can do is worth working towards. And then you often find if you're just doing a simple variation of it over time, with practice, you can start to progress the posture. And the fact, if you can do the full posture, you do the full posture. But in the full posture, if you are doing the full posture, then the key to developing the posture becomes the breath, like any pose. And what you're then trying to do is lengthen the exhales more and hold the bandhas for longer. And in the bandha point, where there's no breath and there's stillness, that is where the twist deepens. Yes? So that's the way it works. Anyway, we're going to just come onto your back for a minute to relax, and then we're going to do meditation. Just a brief relaxation with the arms away from the body, legs wide apart. Roll the head gently side to side. And come back to the center and drop your chin down. And your palms up. Yeah. Relax. Let go of the J breathing. Let go of your breath. Let go of any thoughts and impressions. Oh. Deepen your breath. Your feet together, arms by your sides. Inhale, stretch your arms over your head. Bend your knees and hug your knees. Make your way into seated pose. And get your mala ready. Sit on your block or a cushion, kneeling or cross-legged. Find a posture where you feel comfortable. Prepare for meditation. So just start by bringing the mala with the marrow bead on top of the middle finger of the right hand and the thumb on the first bead, and then cup the mala at navel level and hold the Sumero bead at heart level. Close your eyes. Let go of Ujjayi breathing. And just take a few moments to settle into your breath, so your breath finds its natural rhythm. Feel the connection of your sit bones to your support, natural length in your front spine, head balanced so it feels weightless, shoulders relaxed. Releasing the Mamastanas in the head. Relax your forehead. Relax the third eye in the center of the skull, in line with the eyebrows. A little bit of space there. Release the upper palate, let the upper palate drop. The eyes can relax and recede. No tension in the eyes. Release the soft palate and the tongue. Mouth relaxes and the tongue broadens in the mouth. Release any tension in the jaw. Relax the throat pit. And then the back of the throat. Drop straight down to the center of the chest in front of your spine. Pranasthana. Anahata chakra. Just let your awareness rest there. So you feel a little bit of space in the center of your chest, like a little cave. And the altar in the cave is a small light. A small light glowing in the center of the chest. Just keep your awareness in that space. And then as the breath comes in, roll a bead. As the breath goes out, roll a bead. Don't change your breath. Roll a bead on the in. Roll a bead on the X. Just get a nice little rhythm going with your mala and your breath. No effort. Completely relaxed. And then when you feel ready, Just listen for the mantra Om in your breath. So the inhale is Om, and the exhale is Om. Inhale Om, exhale Om. Keep going like that with the awareness and the mantra in the heart. Keep the pace of your natural breathing, don't rush. Take your time. Keep your forehead and eyes relaxed. Use your personal mantra if you have one. And when your mind drifts away to a thought, just bring the mantra back in and displace the thought with the mantra. Just keep adding the mantra on to whatever thoughts come. Don't struggle with the mind. It's completely effortless effort. And then let go of your awareness in the heart. And let go of the mantra. And just cup the mala in your hands and release the mala. Allow your mind and your body to be still for a few more moments. Just allow your mind to relax. Inhale deeply for Om. Loka, Loka, Samasta, Samasta, Sukhino, Sukhino, Bhavantu, Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere, may all beings everywhere be happy and free, be happy and free. May I offer my life, may I offer my life. All beings everywhere, all beings everywhere. Om Guru Saprus Bhagavan ki. Remind yourself of the intention you made from your practice, for your practice. Namaste. Namaste. Okay. Everyone all right? So did anybody manage to repeat the mantra once? Twice? More than twice? So every time you repeated the mantra, you were training your mind to meditate. Even if your mind went away 100 times, and even if there were periods of time where you completely forgot to put the mantra on top of that thought, that's still the process of meditation. And gradually over time, it gets easier. The mala helps because it gives you a kind of rhythm to your mantra. The breath and the mantra and the mala become one. And in the beginning, the mala can be really annoying. Does anybody find it really annoying? Yeah, really annoying, that mala. It's like you go to a dance class and they try to teach you the paso doble in the first class. And you just have to keep practicing. But if you just keep doing it a little bit each day, then before long, you won't even know you're using a mala, which is kind of the point. It's like a subconscious aid to meditation. And the main thing the mala is doing is absorbing the prana of your mantra and your meditation. When you wear it, it protects you. And also it reminds you every time you see it, touch it, feel it, of your divine self, of your higher self, of your true self. So it reminds you to be a yogi, not just on your yoga mat, but throughout your day, every moment of your life. That's an important tool in yoga, and it becomes a sacred possession. The other thing I would say is that we did today the mama release before meditation, which is one technique. Next week we'll do a different one. These points that we triggered in the mind, in the head, are called mama sthana. Mama sthana means secret place. It's places where the prana, the energy, resides in your head. And that energy does two things. You can switch it off to turn the mind inwards, which is called pratyahara, which means turning the mind away from distraction. Or you can switch those mamas on and they make you do things like look out, listen to things, talk, think, feel emotions, and then into the heart space, feel compassion. So what you're doing, you're not switching off this one because that's where you eventually hold the prana, but the others you're switching off to negate the senses which draw the mind away from meditation. Does that make sense? So you need now to practice this. It's not going to happen in 10 minutes at the end of a yoga class. So your job this week is to spend, if you can spend more time, great, but a minimum of 5 minutes every day doing this practice. And then next week, I'll give you a slightly different practice, and then we'll see where we end up at the end. Can you do that? Yeah? Okay. There's a severe penalty for those who don't do it. They have to demonstrate all the poses. Okay. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, the only other thing I would say is, at the beginning, today I was looking at one of the, there's lots of horses here. So I was with the horses and I was stroking this horse and I noticed it had really long eyelashes. And for some reason, it reminded me of Brad Pitt. And I thought, I don't even know if he's got long eyelashes, but that's why that came out at the beginning. So I was looking at this horse and thinking, why do you remind me of Brad Pitt? It's like, either Brad Pitt or Beatrice Dahl. I'm not sure, but I settled for Brad Pitt, and I have no idea why. If anybody can find out if he actually does have long eyelashes, I'd be interested. Namaste. Thank you so much.